Yo, what is up, sexy beast? Bald tabletop tennis player here, and today we're going to be going over every single Call of Duty Zombies boss, and that's everything from World at War to Black Ops 3. Now in this video, we are going to be considering a zombie boss, basically anything other than a regular zombie that wants to kill you or wants to fuck your day up. And for every single zombie boss, we're going to be going over what exactly it is, what maps it's on, the best way to take it out, and any other cool information that I would like to tell you guys. Now I'm not going to waste your time and spend 5 minutes talking about random nonsense that has literally nothing to do with the video, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it with the first zombie boss.
Fetch me their souls!
Alright, so the first ever boss zombie ever introduced is going to be the Hellhounds. Now the Hellhounds made their first introduction in Shinonuma. They were actually first going to appear in Verrucht, but they were actually cut out. And they also make an appearance in Der Riese, Kino der Toten, Moon, Green Run, The Giant, and their Eisendrache. Now for Green Run, it's not exactly transit, it's more like the separate maps themselves. You can actually turn on and off Hellhounds. And they were also going to make an appearance in 5, but similar to Verrucht, they were also cut from that map. Now, I'm not going to lie, Hellhounds are my own personal favorite zombie boss, mainly just because I'm a high rounds player. I'm not an Easter egg kind of guy, I'm really kind of bad at that. I'm more of a high rounds kind of guy, and if you're going to high rounds, it's pretty nice to have like a nice, easy, quick round every now and then. Like if you're going to round 100, every 5 rounds having some dogs spawn in, the round lasts like 30 seconds, it's easy to kill them. They're basically just like easy one-shots, you get the round over with very, very quick, and you get a max ammo. It's a nice little breather round, and that's just why I love Hellhounds. Unless you're playing in World at War. In World at War, the Hellhounds weren't exactly as you see them in other games. In World at War, they were kind of glitchy, and they could sometimes two-hit down you with Jug, sometimes they could really mess your day up. You had to especially be careful with Hellhounds in Shinonuma. I can't tell you how many times I've died in Shinonuma just from Hellhounds. Whenever you're playing World at War, the main threat isn't the zombies, it's the Hellhounds. They were so buggy back then that they could really mess your day up. Now really there's no specific way to take out Hellhounds. They're pretty easy to kill, they're not really that powerful, they mainly have a lot of speed, but they're not really that tanky. You can really take them out with almost anything but like the starting pistol unupgraded. And the Kar-98. The Kar-98, like the Arasaka, are no-goes. I mean, the Kar-98, as we all know, is the world's greatest weapon, but against dogs, it's not too good. But really, any other weapon besides those is going to be pretty decent against Hellhounds. Shotguns in World at War were probably more effective than other weapons, and I would definitely probably recommend them more than anything else. But if you're playing in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, or Black Ops 3, it doesn't really matter what you use. They're pretty squishy, and they're going to be pretty easy to kill. The next boss zombie introduced is going to be the Nova Crawlers. The Nova Crawlers were first introduced in Kino der Toten, also made an appearance on 5 and on Moon. Now there are 2 different types of Nova Crawlers. You got the Kino and 5 version, and then you also have the phasing one, which is going to be on Moon, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. So the regular Nova Crawler can sometimes be a pain because you're used to shooting at zombies, you're used to looking up, you're used to looking at their faces. The Nova Crawlers kind of stay pretty close to the ground, and once they actually do get close to you, once you kill them, they're going to explode and release that green Nova gas, which is going to make it very hard to see, and it's also going to injure you. The only way for that Nova gas to not spawn is if you knife them to death, use a wonder weapon, trap, explosive, or if you are actually using the teleporter. That's the only way the gas will not spawn. Now in Kino der Toten, they kind of spawn all over the place and are very, very annoying, but in 5 and Moon, they kind of fixed that a little bit. In 5, they are only going to spawn in the lab, so if you're on the bottom floor, and also if you're playing on Moon, they will also only spawn in the lab area. Now on Moon, like I said, they are going to be a little bit different. They're going to have less health, but they're also going to be able to teleport. And that's a blessing and also a curse. Yes, they are easier to kill, but sometimes they will teleport in front of you and block your path, and if you're really not paying attention, they'll give you that one hit, they'll stop you, and then that zombie conga line you got going behind you is going to catch up and then instantly down you. That's happened to me a couple times. Now, a good part about actually killing one of these guys and having them explode with the Nova Gas is they can also actually kill zombies. That Nova Gas explosion not only affects you, it also affects zombies and boss zombies, so you can actually use them to your advantage. Now, they're not incredibly powerful, but they will actually kill some zombies. The next boss zombie introduced with the launch of Black Ops 1 is going to be the Pentagon Thief, aka Yuri Zavoitsky. Now Yuri was actually a scientist that worked at Ascension, but due to some Samantha meddling, he was teleported to the Pentagon and eventually became the Pentagon Thief. Now, he is only available on 5, which kinda does suck. I wish he was available on more maps because I really like the bonfire sale. In case you never played Black Ops 1, a bonfire sale basically means the pack-a-punch is only going to cost 1,000 instead of 5,000. Back in Black Ops 1, it was a little easier to get to Pack-a-Punch than it was nowadays. But there are basically 2 different ways to deal with this man. The first way, if you kill him before he takes your weapon, you're going to get a max ammo and the previously stated bonfire sale. The second way is if he actually takes your weapon, he's going to start running around. If you're on solo, he's just going to run around downstairs. If you have more than one player, he's going to go after the next guy and try to steal his gun. If you can actually kill him before his time is up and he teleports away, you are going to get your weapon back, your max ammo, and you're also going to get a fire sale. If he steals your weapon and you cannot kill him in time, he's just going to teleport away and you only get a max ammo and he steals your weapon. Yuri is pretty easy to deal with. He's not that big of a tank. If you have like Mustang and Sally, the Winter's Howl, the Death Machine, the Ray Gun, any real kind of powerful weapon of the map, you're going to be able to kill him very, very easily. His health is adjusted to how many people are actually playing, and his health actually does continue going up as per round until you get to like, I believe, the 30s. That's when his health actually does stop going up. Next up is going to be the monkeys. Now there's two different types of monkeys, but I'm just going to go ahead and lump them together. There's going to be the Ascension monkeys and the Shangri-La monkeys. One is far deadlier than the other. The Ascension monkeys are going to be pretty much tanks on high rounds. They're going to be able to take 2 shots from the Thunder Gun before you actually do kill them, and basically any other weapon like past round 40, 50 isn't really going to do much against them. Their health does adjust to whatever round you are actually on. Now the Ascension monkeys are basically going to be like the Hellhounds of the map. They're going to come like every 5 rounds, and if you kill them all, you're going to get your max ammo. But these guys can also be a huge pain in the ass because they will try to steal your perks. Once the monkeys spawn in, whatever perk you actually do have, unless it's currently blocked off, they're going to try and go get that perk. So hypothetically, if you have PhD Flopper, they're going to try to come after PhD Flopper. If you kill every single monkey and don't let them even touch a perk, you're going to get a max ammo and a free perk. But if they manage to even touch a perk, you're only going to get a max ammo. If they manage to steal one, there's no way you can get it back, you're going to have to buy it back again. So if you're playing solo and you hear the monkeys come in, you really kind of want to guard your more precious perks. Now, the other type of monkeys are going to be the Shangri-La monkeys, and these guys were actually only on Shangri-La. And these guys are a little bit different. They will actually attack you, but they're very, very weak, so really don't worry about them. But instead of stealing perks, their job is to steal power-ups. Once you actually get a power-up to spawn inside the map, the monkeys are going to start to race towards it. And if you can actually kill the monkey before it actually hits you, you're going to get 500 points. But if the monkey actually manages to hit you, you're actually going to lose points. But if you do manage to kill that monkey, instead of getting 500 points, you're only going to get 10. So it's best to make sure that these guys don't touch you. But these little buggers can actually be used for some pretty good things. These monkeys will steal your power-up and they'll start to change it. So you'll run through all the power-ups like the max ammo, the insta-kill, the carpenter, the random perk bottle. You're going to start to run through all these different power-ups, and if you actually kill the monkey during the power-up you actually want, you're going to be able to keep it. So if you really want a max ammo and you kill the monkey as soon as a max ammo is above him, you actually get to keep that max ammo, unless another monkey comes and steals it. But the only way you're actually going to be able to get the random perk bottle is if you let the monkey steal a max ammo. I guess you have to sacrifice something great to get something great. But these monkeys can actually be used pretty strategically if you actually know what you're doing. So what I always recommend is just throw claymores in front of the stairs, so that way the monkeys can never really get away with your power-up. So up next is going to be the world's most annoying boss zombie, and that is going to be George Romero. Thank God he was only on Call of the Dead. I would probably lose my mind if he was on more than one map. And the thing that really makes him really annoying is just when he slows you down, especially when you're playing with that one asshole friend, which is usually me, that wants to constantly shoot him so that way all the other players in the game just get slowed down. If you like to troll people, do that to your friends, it's pretty funny. But it should never be done to me. And another thing that actually makes George Romero very, very annoying is that he has a lot of health. He is very, very tanky. His health is going to increase, not by round, but by how many players are actually in the game. So, if you only have one player in the game, his health is going to be 250,000. If you have 2 players in the game, it's going to be 500,000. 3 players in the game, 3/4 and if you have 4 players in the game, he's going to have 1,000,000 health. Now let me get that kind of translated into zombie health. If you're playing solo, George is going to have the health of like around 68, 69 zombie. And if you are playing with 2 players, it's going to be like around 75. 3 players is going to be 79, and 4 players is going to be around 83. So if you've never been to high rounds, let me show you what one of the best weapons in Black Ops 1 does on round 50.
Oh, it's a little stupid wants to play. You seem to have lost your legs, my friend. Damn it! I will not die! This one is very precision. Boom goes the corpses!
So with showing you that, you can see how taking him out is very, very annoying. Now luckily, if you can get some headshots on him with one of these sniper rifles, he's very, very easy to take out. I definitely recommend the Dragunov. It's the best thing at killing George, or the L96. You can always use the wonder weapons, but I mainly recommend those 2 weapons. But once you actually do finally take out George, there's going to be some rewards for you. Once you kill George with a weapon, not the VR11, he is going to drop a perk and a Wonder Waff or a Death Machine. He only drops the Wonder Waff if you have completed the Easter egg. If you have not, you will get the Death Machine. And every time you actually do kill him, he will drop all of this. And once you actually do kill him, he actually goes away for a little bit, and he does eventually return. Now, if you do shoot him with the upgraded VR11 when he's in water, he will go away, but he's gonna reappear next round, and you don't get a free perk, and you don't get the Death Machine / Wonder Waff, so I really don't see a point to doing this. And in case you've never played Call of the Dead, George Romero has 2 different states. He has his calm state and his berserk state. Health-wise, there's really no difference. A lot of people seem to think that if he's running in this berserk state or if he's out of water, he's going to regen health. He does not regen health. He will always keep the same health no matter what. And his calm state is basically the one you are going to constantly see. That's when he's walking around the map going, ah, ah. Now, once you actually do shoot him or knife him or cause any kind of damage to him, he is going to enter his berserk state, and he's going to be a lot faster, and he's going to be swiggity swooty coming for that booty. And the only way to get him back to the calm state is if you actually get him into the water, and then once you do that, he's going to be calm, and he's not going to be a serial rapist coming at you. The next 2 boss zombies were actually introduced on Shangri-La, so I'm going to kind of cover them both. We got the Napalm Zombie and the Shrieker Zombie. I'll start with the Napalm Zombie first. So like I said, it was introduced on Shangri-La, and it's kind of in a couple other maps in a weird way. It's also in Green Run, Origins, the Risendrock, and Gorod Krovi. Now you might be asking yourself, how the fuck is it on those maps? Well, the Napalm Zombie from Shangri-La isn't, but you can also run into zombies that are on fire, and if you kill them, they explode and can also hurt you. So those are like a kind of ghetto version of the Napalm Zombie. I thought I would just mention them, just because they're a little bit different from regular zombies, and I don't want people to get pissed off at me. And really the only way to get a Napalm Zombie to spawn in on those maps other than Shangri-La is to get those zombies to somehow run in fire or get caught on fire by any means necessary, whether it's a dragon, the Panzer, running through lava. Any way to get those zombies on fire, they become a Napalm Zombie. Now, the Napalm Zombie in Shangri-La is actually pretty interesting. They spawn in fairly often. He's never really gonna run at you. He kind of likes the slow Michael Myers type of walk, and you'll know as soon as you get near him once your screen kind of catches on fire. You don't have to be like right up on him to notice that he's around you. And if he does get close to you, he's going to go supernova and actually try to blow you up. But if you think to yourself, yeah, I don't really feel like getting blown up today, I'd just rather be blown, you can also just decide to shoot him and kill him. But once you actually do kill him, whether it's by blowing up or whether it's by shooting him, he's going to leave some fire on the ground. Now, if any zombies run through that fire, they will immediately die. So you can actually use this guy pretty strategically if you want to. The other boss zombie that was also introduced with Shangri-La is going to be the Shrieker Zombie, and unlike the Napalm Zombie, this guy was only in Shangri-La, and thank God, because he's kind of annoying. He's basically like the exact opposite of the Napalm Zombie. He's not gonna Michael Myers it, he's gonna full-on run for you. And it's not like the half-ass run, it's more like the Verrucht zombie run. He's coming straight for that booty. And once he actually does get there, he feels like showing you his mixtape, and he's going to scream very, very loud at you. He's going to throw you a sonic screech, and it's going to blur your vision. Now, fortunately, this guy isn't that tanky. He is very, very easy to kill, so he's really not that big of a threat. Alright, so rounding off the Black Ops 1 boss zombies is going to be the Astronaut Zombie, which was only available in Moon. Now, I kind of like the Astronaut Zombie, and I kind of don't. One, he's kind of similar to George, where he's just going to stalk you around the map, but two, he's a little bit easier to take out. And if you can actually manage to take out the Astronaut, he's going to explode and kill any other nearby zombies around him. And one thing I like about the Astronaut Zombie is how he actually has a name. If you look above the Astronaut Zombie, you're going to see a red name. Now, if you're playing solo, unfortunately, it's just out of a list of predetermined names, but if you're playing with 2, 3, or 4 players, it's going to be someone on the host as friend list. And I can't tell you how many times I got off when the Astronaut had a name of one of my friends and I got to kill them. It was pretty relieving. But unfortunately, the Astronaut will not really give you anything. He only takes, he doesn't really give, so if you kill him, you're not going to get like a max ammo or anything, and there's no special round of Moon, so getting max ammos can kind of be a pain in the ass. And like I said, he only wants to take, he does not want to give, so once the Astronaut actually does grab you, if you do not get away, he's going to steal your perk. Now, a lot of people seem to think it's the first perk you bought. That's just not true. He's going to steal a random perk. And for some reason, for me, he really likes to take Jug. I could have all the perks in the game, and he still wants to take fucking Jug. But if you say, fuck that, I don't feel like losing my perks today, the second he grabs you, you want to push back, and right before he actually does headbutt you, you want to jump, and if you do that, he should let go of you. Now, an interesting little fact about this guy is you really don't want to kill him. You kind of want to keep him in your game. because his health is going to depend on what exact round you are actually on. It's going to be a certain amount times how many players you have times the round you are on. So if you keep the same astronaut zombie from the start, his health isn't going to be that much. So like if you're going to high rounds and you fuck up and he grabs you, you don't have to let him take you, but you can just kill him real quick and it's going to be pretty easy. But then the next guy that spawns in is going to be pretty tough. And I don't know if it's just me, but whenever he grabs me, steals my jug, and then teleports me, he always seems to teleport me to like the worst possible location. I've actually had him teleport me basically running in to an excavator. I don't know if it's ever happened to you guys, let me know down below, but he can be kind of a little CUNT when it comes to teleporting. And really there's no like 100% best way to kill him unless you're playing on Black Ops 3. I heard Dead Wire's pretty effective against him, but if you're playing on Black Ops 1 or if you want to do the honorable route, the best way to kill him is really just to use anything powerful. Just a couple shots to him and he should die depending on what exact round you're on. But one weapon that does not work against him is the wave gun and the zap gun, so the wonder weapon does not work against the astronaut, so don't even try. So now we're into Black Ops 2, and unfortunately, we were introduced to these little shits, the fucking denizens. I said previously that George was like one of the most annoying boss zombies ever. Well, he doesn't even compare to the fucking denizens. These guys are incredibly annoying. If you're playing Transit, and they only actually spawn on Transit, so if you're playing like Town or something, they're not gonna spawn in. If you're playing on Transit and you say, hey, there's some fog right there, let's run in it. That's a bad idea. Don't do that because you're going to run into an infinite number of these little shits. They're going to run at you, jump up on you, and then try to claw your eyes out and also slow you down. So not only do they impact your vision, they also slow you down. Now, if you have the Bowie knife or Galvanuckles, they're pretty easy to deal with, but you are still going to have to interact with them. It's not like you can run around for 5 minutes without seeing one. They're going to come like every 10 seconds. Or you can always just turn around and shoot them. They are very, very squishy and pretty much die with like 1 to 2 shots. But did I not mention that they come every 10 seconds and they will always come for you? That's what makes them incredibly fucking annoying. But also you can use them to your advantage. If you want to teleport around this god-awful map, just get a denizen on your head trying to scratch your eyeballs out and take him to a lamp post. If you take him to a lamp post, he's going to jump off your head, dig a little tunnel, and you can jump in the tunnel and teleport somewhere randomly around the map. Now, these denizens will not spawn near these lamp posts, so you have to actually be kind of far away, and they will only spawn in the fog, so you know, you can't really run in the fog, which is like 3/4 of the map. And I want to know in the comments, does anybody actually like these guys? I don't think I've ever met a zombie player that's like, hey, you know, the denizens were pretty fucking cool. I've never met anyone who says that. So if you are that guy, please let me know in the comments because you're wrong. The other boss zombie that was also introduced with the denizens is going to be the AVAGADRO. Now this thing is only available in Transit similar to the denizens. You're not going to see this thing scampering around in town or farm or anything like that. And this guy is pretty interesting. He's only going to spawn in once you actually have power on. And he really doesn't spawn in too often. I hardly ever see him. And he's very easy to deal with. He's not going to be injured by bullets or anything like that. So if you shoot him, you're just kind of wasting your time. If you throw an EMP at him, he'll go away with just 1 EMP, or you have to actually knife him. If you use the regular knife, it's going to take you 5 hits. If you use the Bowie knife, it's going to take you 4. And if you use Galvanuckles, it's only going to take you 2. But say you say, fuck it, you want to keep this guy, you think he's cute, you want to keep him in your game. If he actually does manage to electrocute you, he will do some damage to you. It's not a lot of damage, but it's still doing damage from afar. And if you do not have Jug, basically 1 hit from this guy will almost down you. If you do have Jug, he's really not too much to worry about. But if you don't have Jug, you really do got to be careful. And really, there's an easy way to make sure you never see this guy, like, ever. Just don't ever kill the last zombie when there's a thunderstorm, and he won't ever come back. That's really the only way he comes onto the map. And I kind of like that because it kind of lets you control when he comes in, because he is necessary for the Easter egg, so you can use that to your advantage. But if you're going to high rounds, sometimes you just kind of forget, and sometimes you do kill the zombie when there is a thunderstorm. And then bam, this guy spawns in. But sometimes, you know, if you catch yourself, you can be like, oh wait, there's a thunderstorm. We might as well wait till that's gone to kill this last zombie because I don't feel like dealing with that guy. So as much shit as we give Transit, I think we can all agree that the Avogadro spawning in is kind of interesting and kind of cool, not gonna lie. Alright, so now we're jumping into the first DLC with Die Rise, and also introduced with Die Rise is going to be the Jumping Jacks, and these guys were only available on this map. Now, I didn't know if I should include these guys with the Novas because they're basically Nova zombies with the little spin, but I decided not to and to give them their own little special time. The jumping jacks are going to look almost identical to the Nova zombies, but they're going to behave very, very differently. They're not going to explode, they're not going to teleport, they're just going to be very, very fucking hard to shoot. They're going to jump around constantly, and they have a very, very small hitbox, so shooting them is kind of a pain in the ass. And these guys basically take over the Hellhound round. They're going to spawn every couple rounds, and if you manage to kill them, you're going to get a max ammo at the end of the round, no matter what. Now, what's also interesting about these guys is if you can manage to get 100% accuracy with these guys, they're also going to drop a random perk bottle along with that max ammo, and that's only if you get 100%. So, if you miss a bullet, you ain't getting that free perk bottle. So the best way to actually do this is to use melees, is to use claymores, the trample steam, anything that will really guarantee you get that 100%. That's the best way to do it. And I really don't have any strong opinions about these guys. They're kind of like meh. I honestly kind of forget them half the time. I don't love them, I don't hate them. Like, they're alright, they're pretty weak, they're pretty squishy, they're not really too tough to deal with, but man, is their hitbox like really, really small. The next zombie boss introduced is going to be Brutus, who is only available in Mob of the Dead and Cell Block, which are basically kind of the same thing. Now, Brutus, I'm not a huge fan of you, buddy. The main thing I don't like is how you shake my screen. Whenever I go to the bridge and you get more than one Brutus spawning in, shaking your screen, it's very, very annoying, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But if you can somehow manage to deal with the annoying screen shaking, he's pretty easy to deal with. All you gotta do is shoot his helmet off and then shoot him in the face, and he's gonna go down. Once you shoot the helmet off, you're gonna get 250 points, and if you kill him, you will get 750, while everybody else will get 500. Now, once you actually do shoot his helmet off, he's gonna throw down a smoke grenade, which kinda fucks up with your vision. I'm assuming he's doing that because he is a fellow bald man, and he's very, very insecure, unlike me. Now, Brutus, other than screen shaking, also has a couple other really, really annoying traits. If he runs by, like, the perk machine, the workbench, the mystery box, the plane, he's gonna disable it, and you can only unlock it if you pay 2,000 points. Which is very, very annoying if you're on the early rounds. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But once you actually do manage to kill him, you will get the points, and you will also receive a power-up. Now, really the best way to kill him is just to get a powerful weapon and shoot him in the face. Like the Ray Gun Mark II is very, very good. The Blundergat's very, very good. Not the Asagat. The Asagat's alright against him, but mainly just the Blundergat or the Sweeper does a terrific job against him. But really, any powerful weapon, shoot him in the face, you're going to be good. Now, if you try to use the Acid Trap and or the Fan Trap against him, it's not going to work, and he will disable him if he gets close enough. But he can be killed by the Tower Trap. And once you actually get to Pack-a-Punch, once you get to the bridge, you're going to get one Brutus spawning in per round, which means you can get up to 4 Brutuses on your map, and if you just think about 4 Brutuses shaking your screen, like, that's a nightmare. I don't even want to deal with that. And the bad part about those Brutuses is they will not drop you a power-up. Only the first Brutus that spawn upon arriving to the bridge will drop a power-up, the rest will not. Now, I'm not really sure if I wanted to include this in the video, but I thought, fuck it, I might as well. Another boss zombie could also be you or your asshole friends. So if you are doing the Mob of the Dead Easter egg, once you get to the end, you come to a choice. Do you kill Weasel, or do you kill everyone else? I kind of consider that a boss zombie, a boss fight. I don't really know if you should or not, but I thought I might as well. Once you actually get to the ending of this Easter egg, you can choose to kill Weasel or kill everyone else, depending on if you want to complete the cycle or continue the cycle. If you are Weasel and you are going to have all your teammates up against you, I recommend having the Blundergat, the Ray Gun, and really anything very, very powerful, because it's going to be a 3-to-1. That's not fair at all. So now we are entering the ending of the Black Ops 2 Zombie storyline, and with this we were introduced to a map called Buried, and Buried also introduced us to the boss zombie known as the Witches, the Ghost Zombie, the Waifu Material, whatever you wish to call them. I'm just going to refer to them as the Witches. Now, the Witches are going to be located in the mansion, and they don't drop you like a max ammo or anything like that. They're going to give you a free perk. But that's only if you run through the mansion when the lights are on. And that only happens like every 4 to 5 rounds. So every 4 to 5 rounds, you're going to get a free perk. All you gotta do, run through the mansion, wait till the witches round ends, and then you get your free perk. Now, these witches really don't do damage to you. They mainly are gold diggers. They're going straight after them points. That's kind of sexist in a way. Once you run through that mansion and meet a witch, they're gonna try to steal 2,000 points. So for every time a witch hits you, you lose 2,000 points, which is a pretty hefty sum. But if you have no points, if they sucked you dry, they're instead gonna actually do regular damage to you as if they were a zombie. And I really don't have a problem with the witches. They're very, very easy to deal with. If you want to make it through the mansion safely and keep all your points, the best advice I can give you is just to move slow. Don't rush it. Just go slow. Walk the entire time. Really what gets you is when you run around a corner and there's a witch. If you take your time and go slow, they'll come to you. Just take them out. They really won't spawn in behind you, and you'll be good. So the next boss zombie, I wasn't really sure if I should count it, but I thought I might as well. So the next one is going to be RICHTOFEN himself. So throughout Black Ops 2, RICHTOFEN is just in control of the zombies. You really don't ever have to fight him directly. That is until Buried. If you're playing Buried and you do the Maxis Easter egg and you complete it and you actually get like the end game to where you do all the other Easter eggs from Maxis' side, once you complete the Buried Easter egg, Maxis puts RICHTOFEN's soul into a body. All the other zombies' eyes turn orange, but the RICHTOFEN zombie will still have blue eyes and he will come at you and try to kill you. And every time you do kill him, he does drop a power-up. And that's really all there is to the RICHTOFEN zombie. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the footage that I wanted, but here are a couple quotes from RICHTOFEN from when he is actually a zombie.
I'm trapped! I'm rotting! I'm hungry! Help me, Samuel! I was always a good friend to you, wasn't I? Ah, the bodies are so filthy, so dirty, so stinky. I'm gonna tell you to stop eating brains and take a shower. It's horrible! Curse you, Maxis! You tough, stupid girl! You're always ruining my fun games!
Alright, so rounding off Black Ops 2 with Origins, this map actually introduced us to the Panzer Soldat, a absolutely terrifying being. The Panzer Soldat was on Origins, DENIZENS, and Revelations. Let's talk about the OG one first, because there's two different types of Panzer Soldats. The OG original one is first going to spawn in on round 8, so you know exactly when this guy's coming for you, and he's also going to make a noise. And he's got a couple different attacks. He's got a flamethrower attack, which don't even really worry about it. The only bad part about the flamethrower attack is it looks like you're taking a lot of damage, so it makes you panic, but it's pretty weak and it just messes with your vision. His most powerful attack is going to be his melee attack. This thing's going to two-hit down you with Jug. He also has a claw that he can shoot out at you and draw you in. The only way you're getting out of that bad boy is if you shoot the light on his hand, then he will release you and you can go back to running for your life. And really what I found the best way to deal with them is either to one, have one of the stabs fully upgraded or just run the regular stabs. He's very, very weak against the stabs. Or two, have a shotgun. I feel like shotguns, in my opinion, are the best weapons to deal with him if you don't have a wonder weapon. Usually shotguns are pretty effective at dealing with boss zombies, and the Panzer Soldat is not an exception. Now, like I said, there's two different types. You got the OG Origins one, and you also have the DENIZENS and Revelations one. This guy is a little bit different. Instead of a claw that he can shoot out at you and drag you in, he has a stun gun, basically. He shoots out these little electric balls, and they explode, they do damage to you, and they can shock and stun you, which is so fucking annoying. Especially in the Easter egg boss fight. Oh, that can be really annoying. You have like 20 of these guys shooting stun guns at you. Very, very annoying. And if you are playing on Origins, every third round, if you're playing with multiple people, this guy's going to show back up. But if you're playing solo, he comes in every 4th to 5th round. And if you're playing solo, only one of these guys is going to spawn in. But if you're playing with multiple people, you're going to get a couple of these bad boys spawning in. And again, if you are playing on Origins, these guys will not go to the crazy place. So that is the one safe haven you actually do have. If you are playing on DENIZENS, the first Panzer Soldat will spawn in on round 12. And spawn in like every 5 to 6 rounds after that. So it's really not that big of a deal. And if you are playing on Revelations, it's even later till you see this guy. His first appearance does not begin until round 20, so in Revelations, he's not that big of a threat. And like I said, in Origins, the best way, staff, wonder weapon, and or shotgun. If you're playing on DENIZENS, I really like the Haymaker. I feel like it does wonders against him, but really any powerful weapon will do really, really well against him besides the bows. The bows really don't do much. They'll stun him and keep him in place, but that's about it. And if you are playing on Revelations, I would definitely recommend a shotgun or the Thunder Gun. The Thunder Gun, he'll fuck this dude's day up. He'll make sure he never comes back at you. The Thunder Gun does work against the Panzer. And rounding off Black Ops 2 is going to be the final boss zombie actually introduced, the Templar zombies. Now there's kind of like 3 different types of Templar zombies. 1, you got the regular Templar zombies, which just kind of spawn in with regular zombies. 2, you got the ones that spawn in like every 4 to 5 rounds, somewhere like that, trying to turn off your 115 generators. And if you can actually kill them before they do that, you will be rewarded with a max ammo. And on Origins, that can kind of be a pain in the ass because if you're chilling at, like, let's say Generator 2 and they are at Generator 6, you might not make it over there in time. But these guys are very easy to kill, so if you can make it over there in time, that max ammo is pretty much guaranteed. Now there's also a third type of Templar zombie, and these guys only spawn in when you activate the 115 generators and try to turn them on. These guys are going to spawn in and try to stop you, so you have 3 different types of Templar zombies. They all act a little bit differently, and they're all very easy to kill, unless we're talking about like the regular zombie, Templar zombie. Those guys are going to have the same health as a zombie. But the other 2 ones are going to be very, very easy to deal with, so they're really not that much of a threat. They're just more of a annoyance than anything else. Alright, so now we're moving on to Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 3 introduced a lot of new boss zombies. The first one being the Marguini, aka the Margwa. The Margwa was only available on Shadows of Evil and Revelations, and there are actually a couple different types of Margwas, but I'll get to that here in a second. So the regular Margwa in Shadows of Evil is going to spawn in every now and then, and also when you try to do rituals around the map. Killing a Margwa can be fairly simple. You can either do it one of 2 ways. One, use Pop Shock, Scalpel Gum, knife him, he dies like a second or 2 later. Or the other long and boring way. You can either wait till he opens up his mouth, you're going to see a bright yellow light, and once you see that bright yellow light, that means shoot the shit out of it. And once you actually do that and destroy that mouth, he's going to release a parasite, you're going to get 500 points, and he's going to run at you a little bit faster. And you want to do that for all 3 mouths. And for every mouth, the same thing's going to happen. A parasite's going to come out, you're going to get 500 points, and he's going to run at you a little bit faster, or he's going to die. So these Margwas can be very, very useful if you're trying to hoard up points early in the game. Now, if you are playing on Revelation, you do have a couple new Margwas. You got the Fire Margwa and the Void Margwa. The Fire one is going to look like he got dipped into a volcano, and he's going to have a new attack. He's basically going to throw fire at you in a straight line. It's very easy to avoid, and it's very, very slow, so it's not really that powerful. He's basically just kind of like a regular Margwa. The other one, the Void Margwa, instead of throwing out a fire line when he does his slam attack, he's going to open up a portal/void, and very similar to the Bow and Derizen, once he does that, those skulls are going to come out and chase you down. If you have the shield, really don't worry about it. If you don't have the shield, they're not that powerful. You can easily outrun them or shoot them. They're really not too hard to deal with. In my opinion, the best way to deal with Margwas is either to, 1, have the wonder weapon of the map. Using the wonder weapon is generally always one of the best ways to actually take these guys out, or 2, I recommend the Haymaker. The Haymaker does work against these guys. Once they open that mouth, if you have that Haymaker upgraded, these guys are going to get taken out very, very quick. So I recommend the Haymaker, or really any kind of fast fire rate gun, because their mouth isn't going to be constantly open. It's only going to be open for a little bit. So any kind of fast fire rate gun or the Haymaker, totally recommend. So next up in the Shadows of Evil roster is going to be the Insanity Elements, aka the Meatballs. Now these guys are also kind of on Gorod Krovi. They're going to be the RAPS, or the Rapes. And I'm just going to talk about them both at the same time. So the Meatballs in Shadows of Evil are going to have like their own round. They're also going to spawn in with the Parasites. They're just going to drop from the sky and start rolling at you. And once you kill them all, you're going to get a max ammo. Yay! And these guys will also spawn in at certain points of the Easter egg, and they can be very, very devastating. Like once you have like 50 of these things rolling at you and exploding at you, they can kind of mess you up. The best way to deal with them is really to have any kind of gun. As long as you have anything that kind of has a fast fire rate, you're going to be good. I wouldn't like recommend the Gorgon or anything like that, just because you have so many of them and they're very, very quick. Anything like a shotgun or any submachine gun, I think you'll be pretty well off. They're not like incredibly tanky or anything, so they're pretty easy to kill. Now, if you're playing in Gorod Krovi, the only time these guys spawn is if you're in the boss fight with NIKOLAI. And honestly, I never even noticed that they're there half the time. Like, I can barely get any footage of these guys because they just barely ever spawn in. And honestly, if you're doing the boss fight against NIKOLAI, the last thing you should be worrying about is the wraps. So just don't even worry about them. Just like let them be, let them frolic wherever they want to frolic. They don't really do too much damage to you, and half the time they're just like running right behind you. If you want to kill them, like I said, SMG, shotgun, wonder weapon, anything will do. In Gorod Krovi, they're really hardly a threat, but in Shadows of Evil, if you're doing the Easter egg, they can be a major threat, so make sure you keep your eyes out. So next up, also introduced in Shadows of Evil introduced us to a lot of boss zombies, is going to be the Parasites, or the bloat flies from Fallout. Now these guys were available in Shadows of Evil and Revelations, and the only real way for these guys to spawn in is if they spawn in on their Hellhound round, and once you kill them all, you will receive your max ammo, or they can also spawn in once you shoot off the Margwa head. One of these guys will fly right out. And no matter what map you're playing on, Shadows of Evil or Revelations, these guys are very, very easy to deal with. They shoot at you and they can really only kind of mess up your vision. They don't really do that much damage. They don't really have that much health. Any kind of weapon will take these guys out. SMG, shotgun, assault rifle, tomahawk, anything you got, it's going to take these guys out. They're very easy to deal with, and honestly, I just kind of ignore them half the time. They're really not that big of a threat, like at all, so I kind of just let them be. Next up at bat for Shadows of Evil is going to be the Keepers. The Keepers were first introduced with Shadows of Evil and appeared in a couple other maps. You got DENIZENS, Zetsubo no Shima, and Revelations. Now in Shadows of Evil, the Keepers first appear when you try to do some of the summoning rituals around the map. The Keepers say, hey, don't do that, and they try to stop you, but they later have a change of heart and end up helping you kill the Shadow Man. The Keepers then made a return for DENIZENS, where they're on your side for like majority of the time, until at the end of the Easter egg when the Keeper becomes corrupted, and then you have to fight a giant Keeper. And this guy is pretty powerful and he can fuck you up. So basically all you want to do for this guy is wait until he goes to the center, have your Ragnaroks, lay him down so they have some electricity. The Keeper's going to get weakened, he's going to open up his weak spot, you unload on that until he goes away. Then you have to repeat that process 3 times. Now he does have an attack that will basically kill you. All he's going to do is throw down some electricity, and if you are not hiding behind a pillar, you will die. And what makes this boss fight really, really difficult is not the Keeper, so to say, it's everything he spawns in. He spawns in skeletons, he spawns in a lot of fucking panzers, like a lot of panzers. So this boss fight might be a little bit difficult if you do not know exactly what you are doing. Then the Keepers also made a return in Zetsubo no Shima, where they try to stop you from getting the Skull of Nansapui. And then the Keepers made yet another return in Revelations, where they are cursed and they just really don't like you, so they are constantly coming at you. Now unless we are talking about the big bad boss Keeper in DENIZENS, these guys are very easy to deal with, they're not tanky at all. Any kind of gun's gonna basically almost immediately take them out. Hell, I bet even the Arasaka could take these guys out in one shot. They are very, very squishy. The next boss zombie was introduced with the first map for Black Ops 3 and left on the last map for Black Ops 3. That's going to be the Shadow Man. He was introduced with Shadows of Evil and was also in Revelations. Now this guy is going to be the big bad boss fight of that map. So in Shadows of Evil, once you actually do eventually get to the boss fight, once you are stuck in the Pack-Punch room, what's going to happen in this boss fight is you have to wake up all 4 Keepers and they are going to weaken the Shadow Man's shield. And once they do that, you just got to make sure your accuracy is on point and shoot him a million times until he gets pushed back so far that he goes back inside of the summoning key. Now it sounds easy, but the hard part is he summons Margwas and zombies non-stop. That's the hardest part about this boss fight. The Shadow Man really doesn't attack you, you just gotta really deal with Margwas and zombies. Now if you are playing on Revelations, the boss fight is very, very similar. You have to feed souls to the summoning key and then throw the summoning key to Sophia. She will get rid of his shield, and then you just gotta unload a million times on the Shadow Man until eventually he gets pushed so far back into the Apothegon's mouth, and then you activate the book right there, and the Easter egg is over. You can get that Easter egg done very, very quick, like literally under a minute. And again, the hardest part about that Easter egg step is he spawns in all the Margwas, all the zombies, all the panzers, so you have a lot of different types of enemies coming at you. He does not really attack you directly, but you will be attacking him and unloading basically all the lead you have into him. And he is very, very spongy. Once you shoot him once, he's going to teleport, and you just got to keep shooting him over and over again until he goes to his desired area, whether that is the Apothegon's mouth and or the summoning key. So Shadows of Evil introduced us to a lot of boss zombies, but they did not introduce us to this next one, and that is going to be the Skeletons, the Skelly Bellies. These guys are only going to be in DENIZENS, and they are only going to be during 1, the boss fight, or 2, if you do the Easter egg and actually turn them on. They're not going to be really any different from zombies, they're just going to be skeletons and kind of just run really at you. And like I said, there's really no difference between these guys and just regular zombies. It's kind of really an aesthetic thing, and that's really all there is to these guys. Up next is going to be a very controversial map, Zetsubo no Shima, and with Zetsubo no Shima, we were first introduced to the Thrasher. Now, the Thrasher is a very, very powerful boss zombie, actually. If you have Jug, it's going to be a 2-hit down, and if you don't have Jug, it's a 1-swipe, 1-kill. He's going to mess you up. The first time you are going to meet the Thrasher is actually when you open up the bunker. If you are quick enough, you can actually kill him, but if you're not, that is going to be the first Thrasher you usually actually meet. And Thrashers spawn in pretty commonly. It's not like they're a very rare boss zombie. They're going to spawn in pretty frequently during random times throughout the round, and also if you get a horde of zombies and you shoot a little pus ball right next to them, you also have a chance of creating a Thrasher then. And other than the regular Thrasher, if you're doing the Easter egg, once you get to the boss fight, you also have the Giant Thrasher, or Tachyo, whichever one you wish to call it. OG Tachyo, Original Tachyo, Giant Thrasher, Giant Overgrown Weed, whatever you wish to call it. This guy is very, very easy to deal with. This is probably like the easiest boss fight in Black Ops 3. Literally, all you gotta do is walk around the room. I wouldn't really recommend going through the room, killing everything in sight. Just kind of get them all rounded up behind you, and just kind of walk through the room. Once you are actually able to shoot Tachyo, the Giant Thrasher, 420 Weed, once you are actually able to shoot one of his arms, shoot the arm, wait until the other one's ready to be shot, and then continue that process until the Easter egg is over. Like I said, it's very, very easy compared to some of the other boss fights. And if you're just dealing with like a regular Thrasher, and even the boss Thrasher, the best way to deal with it is going to be the KT-4. The KT-4 is going to immediately take out these guys and basically make sure that you're not going to get another Thrasher spawning in from those guys. If you don't have the KT-4, I recommend the Haymaker, any kind of SMG, anything with a fast fire rate, really. Those pus balls aren't really too tanky, so he's not really going to be taking a lot of hits, but I would mainly recommend the Haymaker or the Brecci. Something like that is going to do wonders against this guy. Or even the dual marshals are very, very good at taking this guy out, so any kind of gun like that, and you're going to be more than well prepared. Also introduced with Zetsuba no Shima is going to be the spiders and the giant spiders. The regular spiders are available in Zetsuba no Shima and Revelations, but the giant spider is only available in Zetsuba no Shima. The regular spiders in Zetsuba no Shima are going to have their own Hellhound round, so they're going to drop you a max ammo once you kill them all, and they will also randomly spawn in with regular zombies. They can block off pathways by throwing up some webs. These webs are very easy to get rid of. Use the KT-4 or just actually walk up to them and hold X and you'll immediately get rid of them, but sometimes they can be used to block off certain pathways to make training a little bit easier. Their webs are also scattered across a lot of perks and gobblegums, and they can also shoot webs at you, but these guys aren't really that bad of a boss zombie. They're very, very easy to deal with. They are literally the hellhounds of their map. They're very squishy and fast, and you can basically take them out with almost anything. Now in Revelations, they don't spawn in everywhere. They're only actually going to spawn in if you are inside the giant hentai monster. So if you are inside the giant hentai monster, these guys will crawl out and start attacking you. They're not going to block off any pathways or anything. They're just going to shoot webs at you and skedaddle around, and that's basically it. Now the giant spider, on the other hand, which is only available in Zetsuba no Shima, is kind of like a miniature boss to prepare you for Tachyo. And honestly, this guy is probably more powerful than Tachyo. He is a little bit harder to get rid of. Once you get into this room, it's basically you versus this spider and a bunch of little spiders. The giant spider is going to spawn in a bunch of little spiders, and it's not like one or two. You're dealing with like 5 or 6 at a time, so those guys can kind of gang up on you and make it very, very difficult. If you have the KT-4, your job might be a little bit easier, but if you do not, it's going to be a little bit harder. All you really have to do is dodge the giant spider's attack. His most devastating one is where he pounces at you with his little pincers. Those things can down you with 2 hits if you have Jug and 1 if you do not, so that guy is very, very powerful. The only way to actually kill him is to shoot his mouth when it's glowing yellow. Basically, when he's about ready to spit at you, just shoot his mouth, unload as much ammo as humanly possible, and you will eventually take him out. In my opinion, the best weapon to take him out is going to be the Draken. I feel like the Draken does wonders. You can also use the MX, really any powerful, accurate weapon, I would definitely recommend. Once you actually do kill this giant spider, he's going to give you a part to upgrade the KT-4, and you're also going to get access to Widow's Wine, which is going to be free. So this giant spider is actually pretty easy to get to. Just have the KT-4 and you can kind of walk right to it. And once you actually kill it, you get a free Widow's Wine. So what's there not to love about it? Next up, we are heading to Gorod Krovi, and with Gorod Krovi, we were introduced to the Manglers. Now, the Manglers are very, very easy to deal with. They're kind of like a rundown version of Brutus. They're very, very weak, and they're not really that powerful. They're going to have 2 attacks, one the sickle and the shockwave cannon, so if you get close enough, they're going to try to hit you with the sickle. Of course they're commies, and if you are far away, they're going to shoot a shockwave cannon at you. Neither of these are really incredibly powerful and are going to like down you almost immediately, so you really don't have to worry too much about that. Their weak point, of course, similar to Brutus, is going to be their head. You shoot off their helmet, they're basically very, very easy to kill. Like I said, these guys are like a rundown version of Brutus. Almost anything will really take them out. I recommend shotguns. Shotguns will do amazing against them, like the Haymaker, the Brecci, the KRM, but really almost any weapon will basically take these guys out. If you can't get the wonder weapon like the Dingo, the Vesper, the Shield, the Gauntlet, anything will take these guys out. They're not too big of a threat. Next up is going to be the Valkyrie drones, and these guys are going to be the Hellhound, Spider, and Parasite of their map. Once you get through their wave, you will receive a max ammo. And eventually, once you get to a high enough round, they will start spawning in with just regular zombies, and they're pretty easy to deal with. They do have a ranged electrical attack, so as long as you can kind of run and not stay in the same spot, you're going to be good. Even their electrical range attack isn't really that powerful. You can always get a helmet to help you deal with these guys, but they're really not too big of a nuisance, and honestly, they're like one of the easiest things to take out in the map, so don't really worry about them. And from the Valkyrie drones, you can also spawn in the next zombie, which is going to be the electric zombie. Now, this zombie is kind of in a couple other maps. You can also get it from Call of the Dead by George, and you can also get it from the electric Panzer, but mainly these guys are going to be in Gorod, and they can only spawn in from a Valkyrie drone. If you have a Valkyrie drone that's not really liking you too much, and it gets kind of far away, he's going to kind of plop down and spawn in a bunch of electric zombies. Once those zombies come in, they're going to start charging you. They're very, very weak, like incredibly weak, like the starting pistol could take them out, and if they get too far away from the Valkyrie drone, they will just disappear. And I remember seeing the trailer for Gorod, and I remember seeing the electric zombies, I was like, oh shit, these guys look badass, but then like you actually get to the map, and these guys are like the opposite of badass. Next up in Gorod is going to be the boss zombies. First is going to be the dragon. The dragon is technically in Denizens, but that's on the wall, and you just gotta feed it to get your bow, so that really doesn't count. He doesn't really try to attack you. The dragon in Gorod, he tries to fuck your day up, and I'm not talking about like the ones that just come around and breathe fire. This guy is a little bit more powerful than those guys. This guy is going to be the boss zombie you have to face before Nikolai. Once you actually start the final step and get into the boss fight, you and Nikolai have to team up against this asshole to take him down. All you have to do is wait for Nikolai to actually shoot the dragon, exposing his weak points. There's going to be 3, one on the left, one on the right, and then one in the middle. What I recommend is having the L4 Siege. The L4 Siege in this boss fight, both against the dragon and Nikolai, is going to do work. I recommend the L4 Siege and or the Draken, anything with pinpoint accuracy and lots of power. So I really wouldn't recommend trying to use like the Ray Gun Mark III against this guy because it's just really inaccurate. Anything with pinpoint accuracy and lots of damage is going to be your weapon. Now this guy really only has fire attack and doesn't really try to come directly after you, and as long as you have a shield, you can run straight through that fire, so you're going to be good. Now, once you actually do take out that dragon, it is Nikolai killing time. Now, Nikolai is going to be a lot more powerful than that dragon. He's going to have a lot more attacks. He's going to have a minigun and some explosives, like a lot of explosives, and he's going to try to jump on you. He is pretty powerful and a pain to deal with. All you have to do is wait for him to expose his weak spots, which is pretty much anything glowing yellow. All you have to do is shoot the shit out of that. I recommend, honestly, the L4 Siege. It's very, very powerful against him. If you don't have the L4 Siege, like I said, the Draken, anything with pinpoint accuracy or anything that can do a lot of explosive damage is something that I would recommend. Anything like that is going to be very, very effective against this guy. And I guess you could technically say this boss zombie has been on a lot more maps besides Gorod because, I mean, you kind of technically played with Nikolai since Shinonuma, but I'm not going to count that because that's not fair at all. But technically you never do kill Nikolai during the fight, you actually kill him during the cutscene, which is playing right now. But I would definitely say this now, I think the Gorod boss fight is definitely the most challenging boss fight out of them all. Alright, and lastly, the last boss zombie that's going to be introduced is going to be on Revelations, and it's going to be the Furies, aka the Furries. Now, these guys were on Revelations, and Revelations also had a lot of other boss zombies, but all those boss zombies were like introduced in Shadows of Evil, so this is kind of really the only new one introduced for Revelations. Well, that and the 2 new Margwals, but I already covered that. So the Furries are kind of going to be like the meatballs of Revelations. They're kind of just randomly going to spawn in and try to attack you. Instead of rolling at you, they're going to teleport at you instead, and that can be very, very annoying because they got some pretty damn good aim with that teleportation, let me tell you. They will teleport straight through an Apothecon Servant shot. They will teleport straight through a Thunder Gun shot. If they time it right, they can get at you. Now luckily, they don't do too much damage to you, so they're very, very weak, but what they lack in power, they damn well near make up for in numbers. These guys will teleport at you constantly and weaken you down. Really, the best way to avoid them is just to constantly be moving. Make sure you have Widow's Wine. Widow's Wine works very well against these guys, and if you have the Apothecant Servant, just shoot it out every now and then. These guys will get sucked straight in. If you have the Thunder Gun does very, very well against these guys. Really, anything will kill them. They're very, very weak. It's just they like to teleport and sneak up on you. Alright, so hopefully that is every single Call of Duty boss zombie in Zombies history. Everything from World War II, Black Ops 3. Hopefully I got it all in there. If I forgot something, please let me know down below, but I'm pretty sure I got it all. I know I purposely did not put Dead Ops Arcade in here because it's Dead Ops Arcade and it's not really zombies. So that really doesn't count, so that's why I didn't put it in here. And let me know down below in the comments. I know I've asked you guys for a couple things already, but I also would like to know, what is your favorite boss zombie? Mine will forever and always be Old Reliable. You gotta love the Hellhounds. They're easy to deal with. They look creepy as hell. Who doesn't like doggies? You get a max ammo. The rounds last like 30 seconds at most. I love the Hellhounds, so let me know what you guys think down below. And while you are down there, make sure you guys check out all the links that I have in the description. Check out my Patreon. Thanks to my Patreons, I was actually able to get this out as soon as I was, so my Patreons are awesome, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for all your support. It really does mean a lot to me, so if you want to be a Patreon supporter, check out that link right down there below. While you are down there, head over to my t-shirt shop. I got a bunch of cool t-shirts that I know you will love. They come in all sorts of colors and sizes and shapes and designs. I know you'll find one that you like, so make sure you head over to my t-shirt shop if you wish to help support me. And if you want to come in contact with me or keep up to date with me, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm going to start doing some Twitch here soon, hopefully. So if you want to do that, make sure you go follow me on Twitch. But if you want to come in contact with me and or keep up to date with me, follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. And lastly, if you don't want to buy my merch but you want something more cool, check out my t-shirt sponsor, Into the AM. Use code RABBIT for 10% off. These guys got some cool merch, and you'll definitely find something that you love. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. The link will be right down there below. And that is all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys could, please leave a like and share the video. This took me weeks, if not months to make. It took me forever to get all the footage and to edit all this. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. Peace.